Good evening, everybody, and welcome to What Freaking Day Is It? I don't know, really. It's just, we're in quarantine, so that's just kind of how we're doing it. So last week, when we were talking about the Greek gods and how crazy and weird they are, that's my roommate in the background getting water, just letting you know. For some reason, we got onto like the topic of dildos and stuff, and for some reason, it sparked some interest. So, yeah, this is what happens when you have a roommate. But, so yeah, so it really sparked it, and so I thought today let's talk about sex. Um, we have a lot of topics that we are going to discuss tonight. I will say that some of the subject matters that we are going to talk about could potentially be triggering. So we will be leaving that right there. We will be leaving that up throughout the whole episode because we don't want anybody to get surprised by any subject matter that might be brought up. But yeah, so I have two very awesome folks that are here tonight. One of them runs like this crazy trivia game on Sundays and Wednesdays, I believe, or Thursdays. I think it's Thursdays. I don't know. She'll be able to correct me here quite shortly. But it's really fun. It's very entertaining. And she's actually one hell of a comedian and pretty secure in herself, I believe. I don't know. I'm not even secure in my own self, so I don't know why I'd put that on her. But anyway, this is a friend of mine, Miss Chelsea Beers. She is going to be coming on here shortly. Hello, darling. How's it going?
Hi. How are you?
You know what? It's Sunday. My kids went home. Like, it's my first night of relaxation. I don't get much relaxation because I got to do the distance learning tomorrow with my kids. So
yeah. What's in that mug?
Water. I don't drink alcohol.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God.
I do not drink alcohol.
I am very impressed that you are going through this quarantine and distance learning. 2 kids, no alcohol. That's incredible. Everyone take a moment. Let's all give Jessica a huge round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you.
Excellent. Good job.
How are you doing with the distance learning? I know you have a little munchkins.
I do, but I lucked out. Apparently, we entered the pandemic and the quarantine with a 4-year-old, so I'm safe. So we don't do the distance learning. Luckily, I am living with my mom. For the time being. Yeah. I'm on the pathway to buying my first home, which is insane. Yeah. I know, it's crazy. So we're with my mom. We're with my mom, for a short time. But my mom is a retired school teacher, so she has the patience of a saint and spends a lot of time, teaching my kid, which is absolutely incredible. I could not ask for anything more. It's great.
Oh, yeah. No, see, I'm actually going back to school to become a history teacher, hopefully, God willing. But I thought about it, and I'm like, it has to be high schoolers, because if it's them little ones, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like, I love my kids, but, like, I don't know about other people's littlers,
I totally understand. I hear you. And then at least with high schoolers, you can like throw in some sarcasm. Like you can be like the cool mom. You know what I mean? Like the cool teacher. Like that could be you. Yeah,
like totally. I'm walk in like Chuck's on, tattooed. Like let's get it going. Like
exactly. Yeah.
How about like Hamilton and just start rapping? I don't know. Is that culture? I don't know. That might be a little too culturally appropriate.
Right. Do that. There'll be a different thing by the time you become a history teacher. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna take me 5 years. I've been a stay-at-home mom for the last 9, so
there you go. There you go.
Yeah. Talk about sexual frustration. You won't even go there.
Right. I know. I don't even know. Yeah. I don't even know when I had sex last. I have no idea. You're asking what freaking day is it? And I'm like, I don't even know.
I know. Because it was right before Christmas, and yeah.
Yeah. Man. Oh man.
It's been too goddamn long. Oh, all right. And so one of the next guests that we have on is another friend of mine. He is a very open and honest person. I really dig his energy. I want to introduce you guys to Dr. Buddy. And there we go.
Can you hear me
Hello,
now?
sir. Yes, you can do it now.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing. You heard our spiel earlier. I mean, like, how you doing? Like,
I'm doing wonderful, given that it's really hot tonight.
yeah, the smoke is coming back. It's kind of like putting a damper in the open mics that were and all the other fun stuff. But pandemics, fires, basically wear a mask, stay the fuck inside. You know,
Okay.
and that really could put a damper on, like, you know, love life. Just saying. So yeah.
Pandemic.
I don't know. Did you guys see that, like, the government basically said to use glory holes? Like, to have sex during the pandemic, like, put.
They said that?
They did.
To put up, like, the, yeah.
Like, put up, like, basically, like, a big old, yeah, it was, I was like, what? Did these, okay, well, you know, if that's what you got to do.
I feel like after this pandemic, not only are there going to be a lot of children, you know, that are born with it, because what else are you going to do? If you're stuck with your fucking mate, there's going to be more kids born. But I feel like there's going to be a lot more friends with benefits after this too. You know what I mean? Like, we all have our small bubble that we're living with, or you know, that we surround ourselves with. So it's just at some point, it's just going to be like, yo, dude, 2020, let's just fucking just never talk about this again. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we're heading down that route.
Yeah, basically, it's like, hey, man, you want to get some pizza and fuck, and they just look at you weird and was like, what, dude, you don't like pizza? Like, come on.
Right.
I've used that line in my 20s. It works. But
I think that's where we're headed. Yeah, just a lot of just friends with benefits, babies made out of, you know, just like, you're kind of dope, you know? Like, it's just, I think that's where we're headed.
Yeah, I'm just, I don't know. Like, I see a lot of people that are like, I went on a Zoom date, and I was like, okay, like, you don't need to pay for Zoom for that. You've got, like, a phone that can do video to video.
Hey, if you
Like,
keep it
I'm
under
cheap,
40
though.
minutes, it's free on Zoom.
Say what?
I said if you keep it under 40 minutes, it's free on Zoom. You can come
That's
twice.
true.
You can, actually. I don't know personally. I haven't done a Zoom date ever yet. I've done Zoom mics, which couldn't be any worse than that. So
Yeah, those are terrible.
I've done a few, and I think it's pretty cool with the Zoom mics. Like, you get to, like, perform in places that you might not have been able to before, but at the same time, it's still just you with your hands, and yeah, basically it's the same thing. So, one of the things that I wanted to talk about is sexual identity. You know what? I ain't even mad about that, because I always have, like, Too Fast, Too Furious, like, meth edition out front of my house. Every night at, like, midnight, these idiots, they just zoom past the house, and I live right on Marconi in a house, and I'm just like, one of these days when them fucking cars are gonna go right through my front door. And
oh my God, how terrifying.
I freak out about it. And that's where you were talking about, like, owning your own home. Like, I'm waiting on, because I'm a campfire survivor, I'm waiting on my settlement from them. I cannot wait for it to buy my own house again, so I don't have to be right on, like, the road. It sucks.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about sexual identity. I don't know if there's a little gray area in some of these. Wait, that was not meant to be a pun, because actually gray is a sexual identity. But yeah, there's a little, I think there's a little bit of meshing. I don't know. So one of the, I don't know how many of these, anyway, we're just going to get into it, because yeah, I'm still learning.
We don't need to discuss. Yeah, let's talk about sexual identity. Everybody ready, set, go. Let's go.
All right,
Jessica,
let's go.
yeah,
Right,
let's
exactly.
go.
So we have straight, which is female to male, male to female.
Are we just doing definitions right now? Why don't we talk about what we all are? Jessica, what are you?
Okay, so personally, me, I just found this out.
Go.
I'm a gray sapiosexual.
What
Now,
the fuck is this?
all right, so I a gray sexual is somebody who's like, it has to be the right kind of environment, right time. Basically, the timing and things have to play together for everything to kind of get to that point. A sapiosexual is someone who's super turned on by intelligence.
Yes, I've heard that one.
I did not know, I didn't realize this one until probably the last year or so.
Okay, but here's my question about that, about sapiosexuals. Here's my question, because I feel like there's a very fine line between being attracted to someone who is very intelligent and then feel like you're like too dumb to carry on a conversation with this person. You know, like, have you had this where someone's super smart and they're talking to you and it's just like,
yes.
I'm talking to you and now 17 minutes in, I feel like I'm over it. Like, I feel like you're not even talking to me anymore. You're talking at me. You know what I mean?
I think there is a fine line between that, but it also has to depend on the person's ego and their humility. If they realize that they're talking to somebody who may not be at the same, not just educational level, because I have been attracted to people who are not like, they don't have degrees, but there's something about their mind, and there's something about them stimulated me enough to like want to like, all right, so explain this to me. And like just watching them, it's like, all right, like I don't know why I feel this way about you, but I do.
Yeah.
But also, I think, like I said, there's a fine line between the ego and humility, and knowing that you're talking to someone that's probably a little under the rung a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah. I don't know. What do you think, Bud, Dr. Buddy?
I mean, personally, I am bisexual. Actually, didn't figure it out myself until I was like 28, so like four or 5 years ago. But yeah, I mean, sapiosexual is one of those ones where intelligence is very sexy to me. But mainly because I want some rich genius doctor lady to be my sugar mama.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. Like, there was a time where, there was a big chunk of my 20s where I was never with anyone in any form. Because I also too identify as being a bisexual person, and I wasn't with anybody. But also at the same time, like it wasn't that I didn't want to be, because even now, like, I want to be with someone, but it's just not going to be like a hop in the sack kind of thing, or just random person. You have to actually intrigue me or something for me to be like, hey, you're pretty cool. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah. What about you, darling, Miss Chelsea?
So I don't know. It's weird because I want to say that I'm turned on by intelligence just because I feel like that makes me sound more intelligent. But I also feel like if they're intelligent about things that I don't care about, then that might do the opposite and dry me out. Like, I might be super turned off by that. You know, like if you are super intelligent about how to actually speak Vulcan or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, it's something that I don't give a shit about. It's like, yeah, I see that you're intelligent about this subject, but it's not, there's nothing about this that makes me want to take my pants off. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's there's different levels of intelligence that if I can carry on a conversation with you and I'm vibing with you, for sure, absolutely, like, let's hang out. Mm-hmm. But because like for most of my life I've identified as bisexual because I do find men and women equally as sexy. I've had sexual encounters with both. I've never dated a woman just because I feel like we're crazy, but like, I've had sexual look, I've turned him off completely. Look, he's gone. He's like, well, she's not intelligent, so I'm out. But then I also feel like because gender there's such a fluidity to it, that
Yeah.
coming up with your sexual identity, I feel like I have aspects of each one. You know, there are times where I feel like I'm more pansexual than I am bisexual. You know, there
Yeah.
are times where I feel like I'm more lesbian than I am straight. And, you know, now Sapio said, what the fuck is gray? I don't even, like, I'm just like, oh my God. So it's like, I feel like I have aspects of all these different types of sexuality. And it's hard for me to say that I fit under this one umbrella. It's really, really hard for me to say that, you know, but this is also because I have been in so many horrible relationships that it's like, maybe I'm doing all of it wrong, you know, like maybe I just need to be an asexual and just, you know, like just, I don't know, you know, it's not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying, maybe I've just done it all wrong. I don't know.
You know, I just got a divorce during COVID. Personally, I never thought that I would get a divorce, but there was just so much toxicity and just the way that the domineering kind of bullshit that was going on. I was like, you know what? And this is one of the things that I attribute to my comedy community, because there was people like, bitch, you don't need to fucking deal with that kind of shit. You don't need to be with somebody like that. Yes, you have kids together, but that doesn't mean you got to stay together. And trust me, towards the end of it, there was no sex drive. It was gone, like gone. And so I was just like, I need to do something for me. And so in this time of reflection, especially because, look, I'm fucking home. I never get to do anything anymore. So basically it's just like, oh, I'm going to peer into my inner soul. And so now I'm like, what does Jessica want? And so I totally get that, because it's like, I'm at a part, and I'm 35. Like, I'm not in a part of my life where I want to fuck around, really. So I'm just like, what do I want? And so, like, researching this and other stuff, I'm like, well, fuck, I am a little gray. I am a little bi. I am a little sapio. I am a little, like, I totally get that, because, like, at some point or another, you fall under, it's kind of like weirdly a spectrum of sexual identity. You're gonna fall
I fully agree with that. Like, I definitely fall, but then there are times where I'm on different parts of the spectrum, and I feel like it really is such it depends on the individual. And I feel like every time I meet an individual who sparks me in some way, my place on that spectrum might change and shift, and that's totally fine. You know, I don't know who I'll end up with. I have no idea, but I'm completely open to whatever happens and what is like meant to be, like, you know. But it's just, I'm the same with you when you said that you're 35. Like, I'm in the exact same boat. The thought of just having casual sex right now is exhausting to me. Like, that sounds absolutely exhausting. It's just, there's no, if I'm going, I have no desire to have sex with nothing that's a tangible, actual relationship that will, like, help me thrive in any other way of my life. It needs to be a relationship on so many other levels, and that just needs to be like an added bonus. I'm 30 9. Like, don't waste my time. Like, don't do that. And I'm not going to do that to you. I'm not going to do that to you either, you know?
I think that kind of also rolls into intimacy and what people think intimacy is. A lot of younger folks, and even when I was younger, I always thought, well, sex is intimacy, until I found out true, like what more intimate meant. Like, it wasn't just sex. It's little things and all sorts of stuff. And so, like, I don't know, like, some people think, I forget which one it was, but I had posted something, because I listened to a podcast, and on the podcast it said something about that Fridays were basically for fucking. It was something to do with Greek gods. I can't remember all of it because I've slept since then and the shit fell out my ear. So I had posted about that, and I thought it was hilarious. All of a sudden, my fucking inbox is like, hey, it's Friday. Hey, it's Friday. Hey, it's Friday. And I was like, that wasn't a green light. It was not a green light.
Right.
What do you think? What? Dr. Bay? Say that again. Sorry.
I said, for most guys, every post is an invitation to send you a dick pic.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches? Here's my dick. There's,
Dude.
but that's the logic. It's Ada Dick.
Yeah, it's crazy though. Like, you know, like there is such sexual frustration and like other stuff going on, not just because of COVID. Well, no, mostly because of COVID. We can't go where we can't do nothing, but still at the same time, like I don't know. I have in my past during this COVID, I misread some signs and I was just like, hey, and they were like, nay. So like I had to really just be like, oh, okay. Well, that didn't work out the way I thought it was going to. But again, this is COVID. We ain't got nothing better to do. Reach out and touch somebody. Well, yourself. I don't know. Like however that works.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. And it's a weird time too for relationships, whether you were in one when the quarantine started or if you were single when the quarantine started. It's weird to be in this and try to keep your relationship strong and thriving. It's also weird to start a relationship in quarantine. Like this is a weird time for everybody, you know? So it's just sexually, we're all kind of screwed right now. You know what I mean? Because like sex has a lot to do with your mental state. That's a very safe statement to say, you know, and so everybody's mental state right now is being challenged. And so I feel like that is affecting us sexually, with intimacy, with this, and this, because it's hard to be intimate with someone who you, I don't know, see 24 hours a day. It's like, we're not allowed to fucking leave. So it's like, and then you find yourself getting mad for no reason. It's like, you didn't wash the spoon right. And it's like, fuck yourself. You know, it's just like this weird thing because you find tiny ass reasons to get mad at each other because you're in each other's space at all times. When the world was open and we could go and do this and you could go and do this and I can go and do this, great. When we come together, let's be intimate. Let's, be excited to touch each other again. Dope. Right. And now it's like you're annoyed when they breathe and it's like, it's a thing.
I did that the other night. I had my kids for the weekend and I was trying to go to sleep and I could hear both of them breathing like hell. My son was like right in my ear. And I'm like, if you weren't mine, like, I don't know, like,
right.
God. But I love my kids. Don't get me wrong. I really do. I love my kids. But like, I feel that we're just them being like, cause I'm with my daughter now most of the time because she's here. She comes here during the week to learn. And then I have her on the weekends every other week. Man, like I love her to death, but I get that saying where you're just like, if you breathe again.
Yeah. Oh, it's legit. Absolutely.
And then on top of it, like I said, like I'm one of those people that write really long fucking posts, and I'm just like, I'm lonely. And then when I was researching, the sexual identities, I'm like, I realize now why I'm lonely, like because right. like I don't have like these people, but. One of these things that people can do in quarantine is, battery operated boyfriends, all sorts of little toys, all sorts of things that you can use to alleviate said stress. I personally don't use them, but
wait, hold on, stop, hold on.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Oh, thank you.
Why is that so hard to fathom? I've never used one.
You've never used one?
Nope.
Anything?
Nope.
Wow. So you don't drink and you don't use sex toys. Why are you still alive? I don't understand who you are.
That I'm abject to them. I just personally have not found either one that intrigues me or haven't found one that I want someone to use on me or that I'm comfortable enough for some, because there's a lot of stuff that goes on. Also, it's like I recently just lost from November to now, I've lost about 50 pounds. So
which is great, which is good.
Thank you. Yeah, but at the same time, I still look in the mirror and see the fat girl. So I'm just like, I don't even think anyone's even remotely, and that could totally be false. And if it's false, let it be false. But also at the same time, it's just like, I look at myself, I look at my body, and I'm just like, ugh, so like, there's that issue too. So, but yeah, no, let's go back to I've
But
never.
I don't know. But I feel like okay. I mean, I feel like self-esteem and self-love and self-worth and all that stuff. I feel like that is almost a different issue than it is, pleasuring yourself. And I mean, pleasuring yourself. If you're fine a cappella, great, dope, do it. That's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That was along way before AAA batteries was. So yeah.
It's a completely, like, I grew up in the church. And because I lived in foster care, I grew up in multiple different churches where all this was considered heinous and bad and wrong and a sin. And then, like, I started backing away from it a little bit more. And I realized through talking with psychologists and sex professionals, because I'm intrigued by sex. So, like, I have talked to people and they're like, it's fucking normal. It's fucking normal to do that. Like, there was an article I read there was guys that were like, so, like, my wife does it before she takes a nap. Yeah, because you know what? It helps us get to fucking sleep. That's why. Like, just play DJ on the VJ real quick. You're out. Like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed of, like, what I do sexually. But.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like we were, like, appalled that you've never used a sex toy. If you know what gets you off, and that's fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean?
It comes down to the whole gray thing where it just kind of has to be the right moment. It's not, it's just not something I can just turn on.
Yeah.
So, what do you think, Doctor?
The doctor had his first pocket pussy, I think, when he was like 11.
Wow.
And that, see, we're back on the spectrum. Like, there's one end and there's the other end. Like, we've got everybody represented here.
I found one when I was like younger, and I was like, oh my God, they make robot ones of these. And then once I started getting interested in them, I was like, I got to get me one of those. So I stole one. I forget from where. I stole one.
Well, the statute of limitations is
11-year-old buy those. So yeah, I had one of those. I think that no matter how you do it, I think that masturbation is super healthy. I mean, there's millions of doctors who will tell you the exact same thing. I think for mental health issues, however you getting off is always going to be good for you, especially during like COVID times like this. I don't know about all of you guys, but I'm on like page 4,500 and something of the Pornhub homepage. Like I'm really.
If it's not within the first three, pages, it's not what you're looking for.
You just keep going. I started in March, and I'm getting there. I'm gonna get to the end of Pornhub. I'm going to get to the very first video.
Dude, and some people are like, oh my God, it's porn. And like, everyone watches it. From the first time someone said, here's a camera, they're like, we need to take a picture of a naked person. Like,
and but porn also it satisfies people in different ways. Like some people need to hear it. Some people need to see their favorite position, or some people need, so I mean, it turns people on in different ways.
Some people like anime.
Right.
Some people
anime
like
porn. I didn't even know that was a thing. I found out about that recently, and I was like, oh my God.
My friend showed it to me one night when I was shit-faced drunk, and she's like, watch the tentacle, and I was like, what the? Okay, like, nice.
That can't be your first introduction to anime porn. You go straight into tentacle porn.
That's where she took me. It wasn't my fault. She was like, look at this. I just found this the other day. And I was like,
you start with the Simpsons characters banging each other, and you move on to the tentacle porn. You work your way up to.
I didn't choose it. Okay. Basically, we were drunk. We were talking about sex and other stuff because, again, I'm intrigued by sex. It's interesting. And so, like, she's like, hey, let me show you this. And she clicks on it, and it was just like straight, like, fuck it. Very, very different. I'm not going to knock it, if that's what your thing is. But, like, at first I was just like, what the fuck is, wow. Like, they're flexible. Weird.
Wow.
That's your thought process from it. They're flexible.
They are flexible. But, yeah, no, it's just, there's all sorts. I mean, there's, you got the dildos, and you've got the anal beads, you've got little vibrators. I've always been intrigued personally about, because you always see it in the movie and the girl just acts stupid. You're not sure if it's true. But those whole like vibrating panty things, where basically you're out in public, they get to have control of the button.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I have one of those. I have one of those. Hold on.
Really?
Yeah, it's this. It's
Yes.
called the box office.
Oh, wow.
Watch this. You ready for this?
Ready.
So this thing.
And for those of you that don't know, Miss Chelsea does have her little shop that she runs. You can find it through stuff.
So I sell Pure Romance. So this is I sell Pure Romance stuff, and this is the box office. So I have a VIP group, and you can find me on Facebook, and then I can add you to it. But this is the box office. Okay.
Oh, wow.
This goes into like against you, like this hits your clit, and then it goes on your panties, and you clip them, and it's magnetic, so it's onto your panties. So then this is against your panties and like hitting you, right? And then you give this. Oh my God, I can't get it out. Okay, then you give this to your partner. Okay, and then you hit this button, and there's 6 different vibrations, and they can just turn this on whenever they want. And it's that. So I did, I'm not even kidding. I did a sex party in Sacramento, right? And there was a bunch of women who blah, blah, blah. And I turned these on, and I just passed them around, and I'm like, feel the different vibrations and give this to a friend and blah, blah, blah. And one bitch grabbed this, and she goes, oh yeah, no. This is how I got fired from Kaiser. And I go,
oh my God.
I said, I'm so sorry. What? And she said, oh yeah, no, because I had this in, and then I just passed this around the accounting department. I was like, bitch, you're doing it wrong or right. I don't know.
Wow. Like, hey, you know what? Like that takes some fucking courage to be like, here, push this button whenever you feel like, if you need me to come.
And the cool thing about this, I mean, like now that like sex toys have been so like upgraded, is that most of my toys come with a USB charger, so you can just charge it, and then you don't have to worry about batteries.
Well, see, and you're being environmentally safe. What was that? Sorry, bud.
So is there no end to what technology can do?
Well, I think if you spend like $4,000, you can get your own basic fembot without, shooting shit out of their titties. I think it's like $4,000. You can get a sex robot.
Oh no, yeah. There's even
that
like
seems very cheap.
It does, but at the same time,
or there's the real live girls for like 5,000. Have you seen those?
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh,
nope.
I've totally seen those. Yes. Yeah.
You'll have to send me the link so I can go basically look at it.
Yeah, it's everything that you think it is, and it's just it's wonderful.
It's definitely for, I don't know.
That's the one sex toy that I think would be super hard to explain. Like, even if you had one of those giant like dragon dildos, like one of those giant ones,
the 40-pounders.
Yeah, you can explain that away. But if you have a partner over and they find a real live girl in your closet or something, or wherever you keep her, that's really hard to explain. That is like.
But I feel like
I think you should have that conversation before you bring people to the house, so they don't get.
I also feel like people who own those real live dolls don't have multiple friends that like hang out, because like I don't, and they don't keep them, like, if people who have the real life dolls treat them like they're in a relationship, and so they like set them up at the table while they eat, and then they serve them food, and then they treat them like an actual person. So it's like they wouldn't shove them in the corner like with their fucking, Dyson, it's just that they wouldn't do that.
Bitch.
With the Roomba.
You're in the closet with the Roomba, girl. Yeah, I just want to be. I've always wanted to like catch somebody disposing of one of those.
Yeah, because, what are you doing?
That's worse than disposing of a real body. because you're just like,
Oh
I've
my
used
God.
this too much.
I don't remember exactly where it was, but I had just read an article about how the cops had pulled a body, what they thought was a body, out of the river, and it turns out it was a sex doll, like a latex sex doll. And I was like, well, I could see where you would think that might be a real body.
Wow.
Yeah. So
They are
and I'm
very
pretty
realistic. Like they mold the holes after, like they get real molds for the holes.
yeah, and like I don't know. I've always wanted to do the whole like bag of dicks, like confetti bomb on someone, just because it's hilarious and it's a bunch of dick fetty. So like,
Oh, absolutely.
But no, I mean, like when it comes to like sex, sexual identity, shit like that, I'm all for you expressing everything. But I will say this: I am not for pedophilia. Nope, nope, nope. There's no way. I just want to put that out there because I'm like, yeah, I'm totally open with everyone's sexual. Not that one. I'll fucking. I've got a hole in my backyard right now for people like that. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't even know if that needs to be said because I don't think that we can classify pedophilia as like a sexual identity. I don't. And I know people want to do that. They want to do that. They want to add it to the list, and I'm like, no, I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can do like a sapiosexual or pedophile. Like I don't. That's not. You can't put them in the same list at all.
No.
They're human beings, and it's not okay. Like I mean. We get it.
There's no sexual identity that preys on somebody. That's not a sexual identity. That's just
That's perfectly put. Yes, exactly. That's perfectly put. Yes.
Yes. I just wanted to throw it out
when
there.
When it crosses over into the realm of prey, no. That's when it's like, no, that's not okay.
So, where am I going next? Where are we going next? I think, we're going to go. So some of the things that some people deal with when it comes to sexual stuff is actual disorders. So what I found for sexual disorders is a range of 4, and each one kind of has their own little thing. So there's the arousal disorders, inability to become aroused or excited by sexual activity. I'm just going to kind of blanket that one a little bit. I do sometimes think that maybe some people have been classified with an arousal disorder because they might have been asexual, or they just didn't find that person that did it for them. So I don't think that that's always the case. I think they might have been misclassified just a little bit. That's just my thought process on it. I don't know about you, but there's a desire disorder that could be low libido or lack of a sex drive, which as you get older and your age and stage kind of kick in, that kind of can happen a little bit more so than, but there's also just some people that are just like, meh. There's an orgasmic disorder, inability or difficulty having an orgasm. And then there's just straight painful sex. Which can be a plethora of reasons why that can happen. I
think it's safe to say that there's a plethora for a lot of these. There's a lot of reasons why you could have one or multiple of these disorders, whether it be something that you're born with or something traumatic that happens to you, which results in this. So I feel like a lot of these have multiple pathways that could lead you to this, one of these.
Right. And, it can be. Why did I skip pages? Sorry, I have 5 million notes because that's the type of person I am.
How long is the show? What is happening?
How long is the show?
What did I sign up for?
It's about an hour. I mean, we're only 40 minutes in. Last week we went an hour and a half. There's really no set time. We're just kind of done when we're done. So
okay.
But I don't want to like go too crazy. So sometimes like with the disorders and stuff, like guys that have ED or start experiencing ED, that can also be the first sign of cardiovascular issues.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, when your body starts doing that, maybe listen to your body a little bit,
Don't Google it, because Googling it will freak you out.
Don't Google it.
Actually, Jessica, I can talk on this real quick, because
sure.
A little bit after my divorce, 2012, So about 8 years ago, I was super duper heavy. I was like 350 pounds at the time. And I was having a lot of troubles with erections and stuff like that. And it had eventually turned out, and I ended up being in the hospital for a while, that it was a heart issue. And
oh wow,
I want to say to like any guys that are watching, like, as soon as something like that is happening, don't blame it on, oh, I'm out of shape, oh, I'm lazy, oh, I'm just not I'm just not horny right now. Definitely find a way to get yourself checked out, especially if you're under the age of 40, when your testosterone should be dipping out. Like at 40, you can start, whatever, but before 40, if you're feeling anything like that, definitely get it checked out. Your heart can be in a lot of trouble. Mine was. I ended up being in the hospital for several weeks.
wow.
Yeah, I still, to this day, I have a weak fourth ventricle that kind of fucks with me at times, but I'm very lucky. But honestly, as soon as like you're starting to feel that, don't let like your manhood stop you from getting checked out. I think it is something that you should definitely get checked out as soon as possible. There's no problem with it. My sex drive is fully back now. Sometimes it takes medication, sometimes it takes a better diet. There's a couple of different ways you can do it, so they'll take care of you, but don't kill yourself just because you can't get a bump.
Yeah. Another thing, I'm just going to speak on my experience with, I don't actually have, anything, but I have my ex-husband. He was on like lithium and other things that would cause issues. And so, yeah, so medication could be a part of it. There's a lot of things too, and there's psychological too. One of the things, like for me, I think kind of part of being a gray, which is the mood and everything has to be kind of right, and other stuff. It's because I actually have sexual trauma, so like I can't just like jump in and do stuff because I'm kind of like, let's kind of feel this out a little bit, see where you're at, see where I'm at, see if I trust you, kind of thing. And I sadly enough, I wish I would have known this a little bit sooner, because sexual trauma is no laughing matter. It's really, really hard to deal with. And for me, right after, there was no sexual drive at all, and that was definitely caused from the trauma that I had experienced. And this was in my early 20s. It was definitely not something that it was a night out, stuff like that, basically, and it ended up really bad. So that's one of the reasons I don't do the whole casual thing, because you never know who the fuck you're going home with. And yeah, so for me, some of these issues with arousal and other stuff, it's kind of like, no, that's my private part of me, and I'm not ready to share that with you.
And I mean, first you need to know that it takes a lot of strength to share what you've shared. So I want to thank you for that, because it's hard to open up, but people need to know that they're not by themselves.
Oh, absolutely.
Because in a case that happened with me, is that I'm a survivor of domestic violence. And so being granted, the domestic violence in this case was not sexual. It did affect me in a way that I was not expecting. I mean, first of all, you never expect to be a victim of fucking domestic violence. You never think it's going to happen to you. But then, like, once it happened, not only did I see how many people have been affected by that and how many people live in fear and, just terrified to leave, and, because they become this brainwashed, I can't live without them, and blah, 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 blah.
Very
so they become this prisoner. Yeah, they're this prisoner and they can't leave. But also I found that it affected me in ways that is so lasting, and it really hurts that is a part of who I am now. Like, this was someone who I thought I was going to get married to. This was someone who I trusted. I turned my life over to, blah, 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 blah. And then the domestic violence happened. And then slowly over time, I realized, hey, it's hard for me to hug my friends. It's hard for me to trust someone and kiss someone on the face again. Like I just and it's weird things like that. You know, I thought my body was wrong. I was like, oh my, I'm disgusting. I started, you know, drinking heavily. I stopped eating. I was just like, I became very, very unhealthy. And it was all these effects that I didn't know stemmed from this one fucking night. It was just, it was absolutely insane how long this shit will stay with you. So I do feel like I have aspects of some of these sexual disorders because I'm a victim of abuse, you know? So it's like, that's when I say it comes from some sort of trauma. Some of them you're born with 100%, but these ones that stem from trauma, I mean, it needs to be addressed, and you need to understand that, you know, you can move past it. It will take a long time, but yeah.
Well, one of the things that I saw, it was a thread, and it was basically, it was on Twitter, and this is why I kind of bring it up, because I saw the responses and they fucking killed me, because basically it was like, oh, if your girl was raped, would you stay with her? And they were like, fuck her, she's damaged goods, or fuck this and this. And I was like, whoa.
Wow.
Whoa. No, we will not be going there. It was, somebody had shared it and it triggered me, and I was like, what the fuck is wrong with people? If somebody is trusted you enough to open up to you and say, look, I've had sexual trauma, I'd like to walk with you through it a little bit. Don't fucking say they're damaged goods. Don't do that. To me, that is one of the hardest things.
And it's so, yeah, because to me, and I don't want to say that it's weird, but there's no way in hell I would ever think that somebody who's gone through that is damaged goods. To me, you're opening up to me like that, and you're being that vulnerable, you're telling me that truth. That is one of the sexiest things a human being can do with me. If you can open up your heart and be that intimate with me, holy shit, that is so attractive to me, you know?
Yeah. And like I've dabbled a little bit and told people, you know, I am a sexual assault survivor. I don't share my whole story on Facebook. I do say, hey, look, I am this or I am that, because like I want them to know, like, you can somehow at some point start working past it. Obviously therapy is really good. You know, right. working with people, like I don't do the whole support groups, but if that's for you, that's for you. But like, it really is a part of it, like, especially if you want the other aspects of sex to happen, you need to know why I am the way that I am about things. So if you're not open to that, then you're basically not open for me. And so then there's no reason for us to be around each other, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know, it's very crazy with like, I don't know, people's opinions, because we have social media, are just like flying left and right. And sometimes you just have to shut it off.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think I honestly, I don't think people think when they think something like that, because it's the same with those same guys are the same guys who assume that if you had a sexual partner before them that you're less than. And it's kind of like a sick mentality of just like, oh, if I'm not the only sexual partner you have, then you're weak then. And it goes for both sexes, but you definitely see it in men a lot, where it's like
for sure.
Thing where
absolutely,
like, you know, like if I'm not your only, you know, sexual partner, you're unclean. And it's like, that makes zero sense, because we all come from moms who more than likely are, you know, dad wasn't their first partner or their last partner in some cases. And it's just like, just that sick mentality of ownership of somebody is not good for sex at all. Like, it's never going to be something that makes a healthy sex life.
Yeah, and I feel like that also, because like you said, it happens more with males, and that's 100%, because I have definitely seen that, you know, the jealousy factor come into play more, because if you, what it is, it's all ego. You know, if you talk about, I mean, this has happened dozens of times with me in stand-up comedy. I have jokes about multiples of my exes, but if I'm dating someone currently and they hear a joke about my ex, they've gotten into a fight with me because they're like, why are you talking about him and this and this, because his ego is bruised. And I'm like, I'm talking about how small his dick is. Like, why is this a discussion? Well, you're talking about him and you shouldn't be talking about him and it's all about me and da-da-da. And I'm like, I'm a stand-up comic. If you can't get over it.
That's another thing too, because like, wow,
jealousy is a legit thing. And so thing. But what he's talking, exactly, jealousy, there's no sexy in jealousy at all. But what he was talking about, what, you know, like with guys getting their ego bruised, it's so legit for them. And that's a lot of reasons why they'll talk so much shit online, because it's like, well, I need to look like this big person online to these people who don't give a fuck, who know me at all. Yeah, exactly. It's like,
well, one of the things too that, like, see, I have a pre-started family. So, right. And my ex-husband is involved in their lives. So if that's another thing too, where you got to have that finagling too, because you can't get jealous of my children, for one. That's just not going to happen. And you can't get jealous that I have a relationship still with their father. It's not a sexual one. It's not this or that. But jealousy in a relationship, especially with my children, if you get jealous over my children, boy, kick rocks.
Right. Bye.
Yeah, because my kid, if you're with somebody and you think that they're going to drop their kids for you, it happens. Yes, I know, because my mom is that way. That's why I was in foster care. But also at the same time, like, the jealousy thing, no.
There's no, I can't deal with that. Mm-mm. Unless it's a real doll in their closet, then I'm fine with it. Yeah, I mean, then
I didn't see that one coming. That was good. That was good. I did want to think, like, for me personally, because like there's do's and don'ts in the bedroom, but then I thought about it and I was just like, I don't give a fuck anymore. Because, like, I mean, for me, I don't do foot play. Like, we were talking about foot fetishes. Like, don't stick your feet anywhere near me like that. Like, the other thing too is, like, I can't get down with someone who's just like, yeah, call me daddy. I'm like, like, I don't even know who my own dad is. Like, why would I call you daddy? Like, you might be. You never know. I like older men. So.
I think kink play is fun to explore. That's a big part of the Dr. Buddy Love show, is I like to explore different kinks. I think the general idea is, as long as it's not harmful to somebody, as long as you are being inappropriate, I think that all kinks should be, explored and allowed, as long as it makes you happy. There are ones that personally make me uncomfortable. Age, play, stuff like that. I think that's a little unhealthy. There's certain ones that I find unhealthy. However, for the most part, as long as you're not harmful, I think that all kinks are really fun. And I think that you should explore your kinks as much as possible, because you don't want to be that, like, fucking 80-year-old guy or woman who can't get a sexual drive anymore. And you're like, I really wish I would have let my wife peg me when we were in our 30s. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, honestly, never shy away from things that you think might be sexy. I've learned that through the Dr. Buddy Love show. It's just anything's on the table. I've had people on there who have been afraid of anal, and now they're big fans of anal. There's been people who've explored, urine play. If that's your thing, do your thing, as long as you're being safe. As long as you're being safe and you and your partner like it, I think that all kinks should be.
And that's, I think you just touched on an important topic, is that you need communication is so huge when it comes to this. I think with everything that we've discussed, communication is so big. And I know that a lot of people struggle with communication and being open and really being vulnerable and letting people know what it is that you do and don't like, and why you don't do and don't like it, because that's a big thing. I do think what you said about exploring different play and get different kink is I think it is very healthy, because you don't know what you could like unless you have an open mind about it. It's like, don't turn your mind off to something that you haven't explored yet. You don't know, and I think it's really important to be open and to be vulnerable and to try new things. Like you said, being safe and also knowing what it is that your partner has gone through, because you could be doing something that's damaging them more if you're not open with the communication.
Yeah.
Well,
communication is key in literally every part of sex. I think
100%. It's so sexy. Having communication is very, very sexy.
Right. Well, you're talking about like, exploring, I guess, your kinks. I don't know if this is a kink, but for me personally, one of the things that I find absolutely sexy and shit is when I love giving oral. So like for me, like that, it's a power play. Obviously, you got a whole bunch of shit in your mouth. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely a power play. You control everything about it. I love doing that personally. I'm very open to that. At first, though, when I first like started getting into that realm, I was like, really? Like, you want me to do what? Like, because you hear people because I didn't have sex till I think I was almost 18. So I guess it's a late bloomer. I don't know if that's a late bloomer, but friggin', like, you always hear everybody talking about stuff like that and, doing the shit talking and stuff. So I was always like, I don't know if I can do this. Yeah. And then there used to be a show called Real Sex on HBO.
Oh, yeah.
I watched a lot of episodes of that, and it wasn't because I was like, oh, I'm horny. There's very educational stuff. There was a whole thing on how to get head in that. And I was like, maybe I could do this, And so then when I started doing it, I noticed that I get personally very turned on from doing it. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that's a kink or whatever, but definitely it's fun.
It definitely is. That is definitely a kink. And honestly, I implore everybody to watch porn, even if you feel uncomfortable with porn, because in porn you can find things that you didn't even know you liked. Just explore porn. Some porn sites have like a genre tab where you can just I didn't know that that's a genre. Let me try that. And if you don't like it, click off. There's a million other videos you can watch. But honestly,
no one's forcing you to watch it.
Exactly. It's the first step to allowing yourself to expand your mind on what is out there. I was a very closed off person sexually in my marriage. I think that was a big part of why we never worked out. It was just I never knew how expanded sex could be. I didn't know how much there was because I was one of those people who didn't watch porn when I was in a relationship. I was one of those people who was very fixated on the relationship itself. And I think that if you expand your mind when it comes to sex, there is so much more that you can explore with people, with yourself. There's so many things that can be done through exploring sex and doing it safely, doing it intelligently by looking things up and making sure you're being safe and you're being communicative with your partner. Those are all very important.
I was gonna say that's kind of one of those things where you build intimacy with each other, where you're like, hey, let's explore this together. If it's not something we like, we'll just we'll chalk it up to we don't like it, and just
but it can just be one of those I almost said team building exercises because I'm exhausted.
What is a team building exercise?
It can be one of those, just intimate, moments that you have with your partner. It's like, let's try this. If it's terrible, we have a dope ass story.
Exactly. I don't want to call the comic out because it was just on one of the Dr. Buddy shows, but he had done a story about how he had wanted to try urination play with a partner. And how when it was his turn, everything was fine, but as soon as he let her pee on him, women don't have the ability to aim because they can't just grab their penis and aim. So to him, it was like, okay, we tried it. I didn't like that. And now we move on to the next thing. But it was such and that's why I love the show so much, is because we can explore and talk about things like that, because it's one of those things where it's like, that's a funny thing you can talk about with a partner. That's a story you guys have until the end of time, because you're like, remember that time when we tried to pee on each other and it wasn't as sexy as we thought it would be?
She could always
Like,
have tried the shiwi.
beautiful.
I mean, if that was the thing, because it was all messy, maybe try the shiwi. Never mind.
You know, yeah, you make it cleaner next time. You know, you figure it out. But those are the things that you can explore and talk about, because there's no, as long as you and your partner are comfortable, there's nothing that you can't figure out through sexual exploitation. It's just, there's so many, exploring your sexuality is one of the most beautiful things in the world. And
oh, absolutely. One of the guys that I was with, yeah, I'm not going to call him out because he'll know exactly who it is. One of the, I don't even know if he watches this show, but one of the things that I had found was that a partner of mine was really into voyeurism, and I had never really done that or had really thought of it. And yeah, it is definitely a little bit exhilarating to go do that.
yeah,
but you have to do it. You have to do it in a safe manner. Again, like you said, it has to be safe. Yeah. But at the same time, it was pretty cool. Like, you know, so it was the rush and everything of it. It was like, oh, all right, I tried that.
And, you know, I feel like the cool thing about this, like, you know, there should be more, you know, discussions about how, you know, open and honest and all this stuff. There should be more discussions like this so that people know that it's okay. Because I feel like in so much in our society, sex is this taboo thing, and, you know, having sex and sexuality and, you know, all this stuff is all taboo. And it's like, this is very, very normal, you know, and I feel like if it was open and talked about more or explored more, or the communication was open on multiple levels with people, that some of these disorders would go away. You know, I feel like that, you know, a lot of this stuff could be worked through if people just had an open mind and talked about it honestly. You know, I don't shy away from this. This is real life shit. Like, that, we all deal with it. Why deal with it quietly or by yourself, or think that something's wrong when what you're doing is really just exploring what's natural?
Well, one of the beautiful things, because I've always been, even though like I am the way that I am, I've always been very open about sex and the fact that I enjoy it. And I had a couple. They were very young. They got married. They had their, you know, they had their wedding night. They were both virgins. They didn't call their mom. They didn't call their dad. They didn't call anyone. They're like, Jess, we got to talk about this. And I was like, oh, I'm so honored. Like, you know, because I make it a place to where people can feel comfortable. I don't shame anyone for feeling the way that they feel or doing what they're doing. And if I can help you in some weird way, I'll try. But also that's like my personal friends, not just randos on the street. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it was really cool. And like, I gave them some advice. The advice actually had worked. I know, because like with the whole pain thing too, like I had a C-section with my daughter. So after a C-section, it's not all the same down there anymore. I'm not saying like in the inside is not the same anymore. So now there are some times where sex is painful. Some people don't get that. They're like, oh, you're healed, you can have sex, the doctor cleared you, let's go. And it's like, no, it's not that easy. It's not that easy. It's like, and all that stuff too. Like, people are like, oh, like, I don't understand, you should be healed. And it's like, yeah, but you know, scar tissue. And I've also had 4 different abdominal surgeries for other reasons and stuff. So yeah, there's certain things that can cause pain. Endometriosis can cause pain. Tilted uteruses can cause pain. I don't know much about the male side of pain, but I do know about the female side of pain. So I mean, there's a lot of reasons why these disorders happen. Endometriosis, I know, is a really tough one. It's a really, really tough one. I've had a few friends that have dealt with that. I've had surgeries. Finally, they just basically had to have a hysterectomy because it wasn't working. And so, and especially when they're young. So I mean, there is a, like you guys said, there's a spectrum of this shit that happens to us, and all sorts of things that, I mean, I would probably, in my opinion, I've talked to sex counselors because of the stuff that I went through and because of the stuff that happens to me. Now, if you're having issues in your life, find a licensed, not just some crazy person that's just like, I'm a sex counselor. Like, find a licensed practitioner, someone who knows the body, someone who knows what they're talking about. And definitely, if it's something that you need, go and talk with them. See how things work for you. Because there are people that are specifically go to school for that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I will not take it personal that you said some quack, you know, like Dr. Butterlove.
No, I didn't. I didn't say you were a quack.
Honestly, I think that so for males and stuff, there's a lot of like, so for me, back in the day, there's no bones in the penis. I don't know if a lot of people know that. There's no bones in the penis, but there are muscles in the penis. And I broke my penis when I was 18 years old. Yeah. In a tickle fight where I was basically fully erect and my partner tickled me and I fell off a couch and landed on my penis and tore the muscle in there. So I had to get a bit of a quick little surgery, and I had to wear a penis cast, which was real fun and all of this stuff. But the thing is, I now I oddly feel lucky because I have a penis that can get fully erect and move. It's very flexible. My penis is very flexible. However, my penis, if it is moved to the right fast, it honestly feels like somebody's trying to rip it off. It is so painful. However, any other direction, that's why I call it the enjoy stick. But yeah, it's one of those things where it does hurt, and it's not like a sexual thing. So oftentimes I'm sitting there trying to explain to a partner during sex that I'm like, oh, that feels good. However, don't maybe lean that way because it feels like
yeah, I just ouch.
Wait, can you tell me what a penis cast is, please? Can you explain that?
So it's basically like a paper mache cast that goes over your crotch area to handle the swelling, but then it's about 2 inches into the shaft. So even when you're not hard, your penis like sits inside of it. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like a reverse dog cone.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you have to wear it for 2 weeks, and it's very uncomfortable. Like you cannot lay on your stomach. I mean, honestly, after
I would never go to sleep. I have to sleep on my stomach. I'd be fucked.
Oh yeah, no, it honestly changed my entire life, how I sleep, how I have sex, and it was honestly we were just 2 18-year-olds making out on a couch. I had a boner. I made the mistake of going, hey, I'm very ticklish, and her going, really? And trying it. And I flipped over, landed straight on my penis, screamed, and ran out to my car and drove away. It was like, I drove to my grandma and I was like, take me to the doctor. Something's wrong with my pee-pee.
Damn, dude.
Oh my God.
Damn.
But just in case anybody's worrying at home, it totally works.
Well, see, there you go. The miracle of medicine.
Yes.
I remember I lived in group homes. I remember a girl that had gotten booted in her crotch, and yeah, I had never heard that noise before because apparently guys seem to think that girls can't get hit in the crotchola area and it hurt really much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd never heard a scream come out, and she had gone to the emergency room and she had basically like tore her lady parts. And so yeah, I know that sound, but I've never let anyone kick me in the crotch on purpose. So
but also guys, if you're at home and you don't know, down there too, just because they don't have the dangling testicles, nothing feels good when you kick down there. Nothing.
No, and then we also have that weird pubic bone thing. So like when you kick us and it hits our bone, It's not fun.
That's a straight, yeah, like
you guys,
no,
this could be a kink for someone. This could be something that someone's totally into, and we're being
It totally
disrespectful
could.
right now.
no, honestly, straight up, doing, because for Dr. Buddy Love, every month I do research on different kinks and sex and stuff, and I'm always trying to
That's
come up with
okay.
new
Where do
And
you
one of the things
where do you perform this? Is this on Facebook Live that you do this? Where does this show that we can find?
It's on Stab. I have not done it since the pandemic, but
Gotcha,
usually
okay.
what I do is it's a stand-up comedy show, and I basically have comics go up, do stories about sex and comedy about sex, and then I go up and I interview them afterwards. I've been trying to come up with a digital version of it, but a lot of people feel more safe when they're talking about sex when it's not recorded like this.
Yes.
I've found out. So and I usually like to have like a headliner, like I've had like Gail Jones,
I love her. She's cool.
sex therapist. I've had Danny D as a headliner. She is a phone sex operator. There's a lot of like I like to have somebody who is an expert in some kind of sexual field as a headliner. But I've learned like through that there's so many different like sexual fantasies and sexual like fetishes that people are into. Hands is a sexual fetish. Smell could be a sexual fetish. Anything could be a sexual
What was
fetish.
the first one? Did you say hands or trans? I'm not trying to sound rude. Hands. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It cut off on my end, so I didn't know if it was
Well, I mean, transgender could be a kink as well. I mean, I'm sure that that's not popular around the trans community, but I mean, anything could be kink. And I mean, you know, that's why it's great to communicate exactly what you're into.
Yeah.
Yep. Communication. Big.
Well, it's pretty much come that time. I love what we did here today. I'm really glad that you two were on this show with me because, you know, it's quarantine. I'm trying to do something. It's just, you know, it was fun. And I thought that the topics and the discussions that we had were good and healthy. And I am going to let you guys plug yourself. If you have anything coming up, me personally, I'll wait until you guys are done doing your thing to kind of spew my stuff. But if you guys have anything coming up, now is the time. Miss Chelsea, do you have anything in person, online, anything?
I do. I'm always doing something. I have, you can follow me at Instagram at Chocknilla. That's half chocolate, half vanilla because I'm black and white. So that's CNILLA. So that's my Instagram handle. I also have a custom cake business, which is Chelsea Got Cakes, and you can find that on Facebook and on Instagram. This is my name, Chelsea Beer, so you can Venmo me. You can find me on Facebook here as well. I am doing a live show. I did 2 this last week. I'm doing one on Friday in Modesto, one on Saturday in Santa Rosa. So I do have some live shows happening in some outdoor venues, which is really fun. Nice. I do post them all on Facebook, so check those out. And like Jess said, on Facebook Live, I do trivia. Every Sunday at 2 p.m. is audio trivia, and every Thursday at 7 p.m. is a full-on trivia night with 4 rounds of different trivias. And then starting in October, I have a game show coming out, which will be live on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch. It's going to be a game show called Who Wrote This Shit, and it's absolutely hilarious. So
nice. I would like to be on that. I'm just saying, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring for
100%. You are on my list.
Awesome. What about you, Dr. Buddy?
I have every Tuesday on all of Stab comedy streaming services. You can find me doing the Obscure Movie Trivia Show. Also, you can find Chelsea on most of the episodes of the Suzette Vanetti Show, which is also on Stab, and it's awesome. Huge fan, by the way. But yeah, that's literally where you can always find me, is doing my show. Jessica hosted this last week. I will be hosting this week. Next week we're taking a little break, but then every Tuesday in October, which I think there's 5 of them, we're doing horror movies. We're gonna have a bunch of cool guests. I have some friends from LA and New York guesting, so I'm really excited for that. That's what you can think of me.
That is my
Yeah.
favorite genre.
Yeah.
Horror movies and B horror movies. Oh my god, I
I
cannot
like
get
B
enough.
horror and I like gore and stuff like that. But when it comes to like poltergeist and shit like that and like possession, I'm like, fuck you, I don't want to watch it. I have watched them, but they scare the living shit out of me. Okay, so one of the fucking things really important are really going around Facebook right now is like, oh, watch this cute video, blah, blah, blah. Then all of a sudden it's like, ah, and some fucking jumps out at you. I hate those goddamn things. I have anxiety disorder and and I have earbuds in too. Last night I was on my bed, my kids were asleep. I'm like, oh, such a good, ah! And like I fell off my bed. I had to silent scream because I didn't want to wake my kids up. And I'm like pulling the freaking things out of my ear. Please stop doing those. I hate them. Fucked up. It's fucked up. But one of the places that you can find me is this Friday. You could find me on Stab because I am a part of the Body Posy show, which I believe you're on too, sir.
Shit, I am this Friday.
And also, I have always had this weird affinity for puns. I love puns. If you see my page, you will see that I steal them from people and I throw some of my own out there. Well, I threw one out to this really awesome show called the UK Pun Off. And they reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to be on the show. So I am going to be on my first pun show October 4th. So holla at your girl, be there to support because honestly, it's either going to be a train wreck or these people are going to mow me the fuck over with their skills because some of them are fantastic. And I actually have been getting my training in per se by watching the Tuesday night Capital Punishment show over on Twitch. I am not as fast as them, nor will I probably ever be, but I really love that show. I love puns, and I don't know. It's fun to do play on words because I like dad jokes, and that's basically what puns are in a weird way. So, but
I like it.
I definitely love it. I don't know what we're doing next week. I don't know exactly what it is. We just kind of I don't know why I say we. It's like there's more than one in here, but there might be. I don't know.
We as a community.
Yes, we. But I'm really glad for what we covered tonight. I'm really stoked that I had these awesome friends of mine on, and hopefully you guys learned a little something. And also, I'm going to be doing a little bit of research. I am going to be posting things on my page for sexual assault victims, like Catalyst and things of that nature. Something like for programs for people who need help or need to reach out. Definitely do that. There are great organizations out there that help all across the board, be it male, be it female. They're going to help. I've been through these programs myself. They're fantastic. So with that, we're going to leave. I really hope that everybody had a fun show.
Yay! Did you guys have fun? I did. Thank you so much for having me. This was great.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and definitely you guys should go to her page because it's hella fun. And his right here, his is hella fun too. Just find them because I didn't do my job and freaking post up their Instas and all that stuff. So definitely get find them.
That's what this is for.
Dude, I had my kids all weekend. I had I just haven't had time. I've just, being a parent is really one of those 4 disorders because, yeah.
Girl, preach. I get it.
Yeah. Trust
I get it. Like my poor cat.
Don't you have 4 cats though? Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, wow. I have 2 dogs. One's a one-eyed Chihuahua and the other one's a Staffy. So.
Oh my God.
But anyway, we're going to go. We've had a fun night. I'm going to stop the stream and hopefully